How you guys doing? This is Dezi with Outdoor Extreme OX Files, where the truth is in the field. Today we've got a really cool special for you today. We're doing for the first time our first live with someone else. So maybe you guys have seen the post that we put up in regards to what our theme and topic was going to be today. And their two subjects are going to be on a amazing product that the moment I caught wind of it, I was hooked. I thought it was the best thing, sliced bread and such, since the first time a First Strike came out. I was loving it. But we're going to be talking about in regards to Gatormaille, which is a protective article accessory that you would add to your loadout. This is great for photographers, for players, for anyone who is in an impact sport. This is going to be a product that you are really going to want to tune into. And it's handmade, custom done, whether it's with lettering or an image that you want on here. Gatormaille is where you can protect your neck, just like Wu-Tang said. Our second subject will be regarding mag-fed paintball. Mag-fed paintball is something that I've been involved with probably the past 5 years, I would say, or so. I've lost track of time. Time is weird for me. But we're going to talk a little bit where we started, where I saw it coming from, and from the referee's perspective, and then moving to a player, where it's just another intense element of the game, but just with a different loadout and the certain nuances that come with mag-fed paintball. One of our favorite ends of is we have here in Florida is mag-fed Florida. Mag-fed Florida has been an established group of guys that just get at it. We are here to sling that paint and get in each other's faces and definitely it's a good time. But the whole concept is running limited ammo with certain projectiles, with certain rules. And it's really a fun game, and how it's come into open class games. Mag-fed paintball style is just a new element, while paint and face is all the same. But first, we have a guest, the creator of Gatormaille. His name is Damian Fowler. He's a friend of mine, and he is guaranteed to be a friend of yours if you're a cool dude. So let's bring him in here. Behind the scenes, we've got Mr. Gator running the whole operation on here. We're the face. He's the brains behind the operation. So Oz may come in here and talk to us occasionally too. Damian, you got here, baby. Good to see you, right? Doing good, man. Doing good. So, got a couple of questions. First off, who are you? How are you involved in paintball?
Born and raised in Pennsylvania, near Pittsburgh. Lived up here my whole life. I started playing paintball 33 years ago.
Ooh, oh, man. I was a couple years old.
My first game, I was 17 years old, a junior in high school. And I'm going to be 50 in August.
All right, keep rocking, bro. Who got you to come and actually play?
So, me and mine at school had a birthday party, and it was at one of the very first fields, not far from where I lived. I played it the first time and was like, oh, this is awesome. Then I just, started working, and I happened to work at a place, and there was a paintball field on the upper floor of this warehouse down in Pittsburgh. And I went up and checked it out, and I started playing paintball with them. And then I met Silver Fox, Tom Bianco.
Oh, what a great man.
And he got me playing woods ball tournaments and stuff like that. And it was great. And then I started getting, the tournament scene was just not my thing. It started to advance, and I liked playing in the woods.
Yeah, it definitely took a big changeover.
In 1998, I almost walked away from paintball. And he called me up one day, and he said, hey, you still got your stuff? I'm like, yep. He's like, I want you to come with me. I said, if it's a tournament, I ain't going. He goes, not a tournament. I got in his truck, and we drove for 6 hours across the state of Pennsylvania, and we ended up at EMR.
Oh, all right.
And it was my very first, October 98, my very first time playing a big game, a Castle Conquest at EMR, about 500 people, and I was re-hooked on paintball.
Reinvigorated, right?
Yes. I've played all over the place, all over the U.S., all over. I played. Well, I shouldn't say all over Canada. I played in a few places in Canada.
Oh,
I
excellent.
was
International
fortunate.
baller.
I was fortunate enough to play Blizzard Ball inside the Sky Dome in Toronto all those years ago.
All right, those are some big shoes, bro. My man.
Where I lived, I was about 45 minutes from the original Smart Parts, so they sponsored our team. So I knew a lot of the original A's, including Graham Easton, who was a big autococker guy, and he's the one that got me into autocockers. And
Now,
I still.
what is an autococker for some people who aren't aware of what it is?
So an autococker essentially is it's been around for 40 years now. It was basically one of the first high-tech semi-automatic paintball guns that cocked itself, so you didn't have to pump it.
Right, you're now moving from your PGs, your PGPs, and through
Nelsons
and Nelsons, right? Yep. Every shot,
Splat Masters.
Yep.
And Budor created this to where it had all kind of pneumatics and hoses so that it would recycle the air and it would force the gun to recock itself. So all you had to do was pull the trigger as fast as you could, and it would shoot paintballs. And what made me fall in love with it was the sound that an autococker makes. That clack clack, and
like
there's just
machine.
Nothing like it. And to this day, you've seen me on your fields. 90% of the time, there's an autococker of some kind in my hands.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I have a bunch of them. I still run old guns. I have my one autococker was made originally in 1996. That gun's old.
All right.
I have an old shoebox shocker, which was one of the first electro guns.
You could just beat someone to. Anyways, that's a heavy thing.
Well, that's what the Gothic cocker's for, with all the spikes that Big E made. I have one of them too. Nice. But yeah, no, I really got into scenario ball, and then I kind of took a pretty big step back. I got married and had kids, and when my girls got old enough to play, I took them out, and my oldest daughter really got into playing, and I got back into it, and I was like, I need something to stop making it look like I'm going out to a brothel and coming back with hickeys and stuff on my neck.
Right.
And getting all that shell fragment in my beard,
I feel that.
A buddy of mine, we sat down, and he had been doing chainmail for like 25 years at the time.
Oh,
and I said, can you make it lightweight and can you make it flexible? I want to put it on my paintball mask. And he said, give me about 2 weeks. And he brought me the original prototype. And I was like, this is awesome. And it was purple and green. And I was like, this is great. And I put it on my mask. And you know me, purple and green are my colors. I wore it to Silver Fox's field, and he saw it. And he was like, what is that? I was like, I just don't like getting shot in the neck. He goes, can you make me one? I was like, yeah, you got to give me some time. He goes, I need it by the end of April because I'm going to a game in Florida. I said, okay. So in that time to make it, I'm like, well, I'm going to try to run with this and see what happens. So we come up with a name. We come up with a logo, and I made it, and I gave it to Tom Silver Fox, and he put it on his mask, and he went to Florida. That was end of April of 2020.
That's awesome.
5 years.
Was that
7?
Wayne's World? Did you guys win?
Yes.
That?
Yeah. Nice. 5 years later, over 7,000 products made worldwide.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
Yeah.
Oh.
I never thought it was going to catch on like it did, but it has. We have fields that call us, wanting us to come out and vend. And now with the team, we have fields calling us, wanting us to vend and bring the team out because we play with honor and integrity, and we get out there and just have a good time.
So you also have a paintball team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it started out with 4 people, just 4 of us that kind of hung out, and now it's grown to over 20. And I have Kentucky, Ohio, Maryland, New York, Pennsylvania. We're from all over, and we treat our game time as our time to get together as a family and hang out. We camp together, we eat together, we hang out together. And that's more what we look forward to than anything else. We don't care if we win or lose the game. We don't care about awards. We just want to get together and hang out and have fun. And then we get to see extended family too, like when we run into you or 3D from Nomads or Joe Perez from the 13th. You know, they're all extended family. These guys have all been with us since the beginning. And that's really what it's all about.
Damian, I absolutely love it. I think hands down, protection is huge in this game, right? It's, as someone who also has a beard, we've did the test for one event where I didn't wear my Gatormaille. And then I went out to another, and you guys saw it look like I got hit in the neck with a 2x4 all across. This beard does nothing to stop the impact. And, you know, you can blast me just about anywhere else, and I ain't going to give it. My neck, it's a little sensitive. It's a little softer there. And then the next event, I'm wearing my Gatormaille. I'm catching rounds left and right, and I can keep on moving. You know, and I think one of the nicer parts is when you do catch a hit in the Gatormaille, when it comes down to the neck side of things, you can still identify, okay, yeah, there was a shot there. You know. In particular, the model that I have right now is for my referee. I'm not bothering too much about having a shot, being able to expose. Which brings me actually to one of my questions. Now that we're kind of showcasing this stuff, right? When people are wearing this, obviously it's protecting their neck. Depending on how you set it to your mask, are these products allowed in tournament? I know with tournament, it's nothing that you really, that what you love to do. But are these allowed in tournaments?
So, yes, for the most part.
Okay.
So it comes down to we had to be ASTM approved in order for it to be sanctioned for any kind of tournament use. We went through all that. We got ASTM approval. Currently, the only tournament series that it's not permitted to be used in is NXL.
Roger. So that makes sense.
ICPL allows it. A lot of you'll find an event or two that'll be like no, but most of your smaller series, your EPL, AXL, ICPLs, most of them have zero problem with it whatsoever because it's not modifying. It's not a modification to the mask. It's an extension of the mask, just like a head wrap or something would be. It's not cushioned, and it's not going to give you bounces.
Right. Yeah. But I can vouch for that. It is not bouncing.
Now, granted, with having the beard behind it, I will not lie. I do get less breaks on my Gatormaille than probably some people do.
Okay, heard that.
But,
typically, when I'm engaging with a guy, I'm looking at the whites of his eyes. So I'm not typically catching a bounce when I'm engaging.
Right. But, So it is allowed in most tournaments. No issues with that whatsoever.
Mechanical tournaments, right? Is that what we're discussing? Like, not the NXL?
So, no NXL. That's the only one right now it's not approved in. The refs are allowed to use it in the NXL.
Right.
Not the players.
Cool.
Now, that being said, I've had 5 or 6 of the pro players, Rocky and those guys that have seen me at events and have done nothing but ranted and raved about the product, which makes me ecstatic. Ryan Greenspan has talked about it on his show. He told me personally, he goes, in all honesty, dude, this is the amazing product. He goes, I wear nothing around my neck. He goes, I wear no form of neck protection. He goes, I have a long neck. He goes, but for what you guys are doing, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And that made my day. This is Ryan Greenspan. Everybody knows his name. Everybody
for
knows
those
Rocky
who don't know Ryan Greenspan, who is he? This guy.
probably like one of the best paintball players currently right now in the world. Plays for Dynasty. I mean, they won what, like 85 championships in a row or something like that, you know. But yeah, no, the Chris Lasoya, you know, Team Infamous, those guys all know me, and they all really dig the product, you know. And I have some of those guys that will play scenario ball, and they wear my product when they're playing scenario ball, which makes me smile.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Fred Schultz, Bill Bailey, Bud Orr, Dan Colby, they all wear my product when they play.
But,
Every one of them.
I will have to say too, when in regards to the names you've dropped, right? Let's say like Bud or Fred Schultz, right? These gentlemen who have been around in the game longer than most people have been. Some of these players that we have out on our field have been alive, right? Yeah. And one of the things that, like, as you get older, your skin gets a little bit more thin. It is the nature of the beast, right? And
Absolutely.
if you still have the heart to get out there, right, your skin still is going to take a little bit more of an impact than, say, someone who's 25, right?
Yeah.
Versus being 65 plus, right? That's a great thing for those who are trying to get back in the game or continue that game without their neck getting roasted, and you got to go to your wife's ball that she has for a company meet. You know, it doesn't look like you went like, oh, you had a few words with your wife. Is that what happened to you? And I think it's an amazing thing that what you guys have done, but it's not just neck protection that you guys have branched out. There's more that you have, right?
Wait, there's more. So we also started doing custom head covers. We're up to 3 different types of head covers now. So your standard head wrap, which ties around like a bandana, only it has a cloth that hangs down over the back of your neck.
Super thin, breathable.
Imagine having a little bit larger neck protector attached to that, protecting your top of your dome from getting tagged with a round ball or even a first strike.
So like this, for example, like if this was to be your head and the chainmail went up and over, protecting the top of your head.
Top of your head and the back of your neck. Absolutely.
Oh, protect that baby soft spot. Oh.
Yep.
Okay, sweet.
That's one of them. G1 makes a bounce cap. That's pretty popular.
Yeah.
Okay, we now Gatormaille those out as well. We have a wonderful working relationship with G1.
Oh, and fantastic. What is that company?
So G1 was, I found out about the company by accident. They do a lot of different sports apparel, but they make these really nice spandex domed, padded bounce caps. They're kind of like a ball cap minus the brim.
Yeah.
And my buddy Chris, who from Denver, he came to me one day and he said, it'd be really cool if you could do a round piece of Gatormaille to fit on the top of it, so I could click it and shot in the top of the head. I said, where can I get one? He told me the company. I reached out to the company. They sent me one for free. Okay. I told them who I were. They had heard of me. So I was like, this is awesome. So they sent me one. So I put the tactician, my wife, Monica, who is, the heart and soul of Gatormaille. I'm just the face.
Hey, I can relate, as my wife.
Well,
yes.
Absolutely. We know each other's wives. It's, whatever they say goes, happy wife.
This is the way.
So I said, hey, can you make a round Gatormaille to fit this? And she goes, we're going to talk later. And she goes, yeah, give me a few. So she came to me about an hour later, and she had what looked like a small yarmulke. And I said, all right, it needs to go down to the brim. So she did this, and we built it for Chris. And he took it to an event called Castle Jam up in New York, I believe, or New Jersey.
New Jersey, is it? It's where they have the massive Connex fortress built up front.
It's a giant castle where everybody shoots down from the castle, and two teams are trying to break into the castle, and you constantly get shot in the head.
It's made out of Conexes, right?
I think so.
Yeah, the massive.
It's like a big one-day game where they shoot like a boatload of paint. That's all I know, and I've not been to it yet, but it's definitely on the bucket list. So he came back from that event, and he goes, dude, this works phenomenal. Then his team started getting them. And now we've sold probably 150, 200 of them.
Wow. Let's go. So it doesn't dangle or anything like that.
Nope. It's literally just the top of the
cap.
dome. Yeah. So if you're a player that doesn't worry so much about or doesn't like something on the back of their neck,
I did my hands.
You can go strictly with that. And just within the last 6-7 months, we started doing. Raza used to put out a padded skull cap.
Yeah.
A tie-bind skull cap. Well, I found Raza no longer makes them, but a buddy of mine from Connecticut had one. And he said, "Hey, can you make Gatormaille pieces to fit on this?" I said, "Yes, we can." And my wife almost killed me again. And then then she made it, and she was like, "That's actually really easy to make." So those have 2 pieces along the side, and then a strip that runs from the center, and a small strip down the back of the neck, and then it ties behind. And
wait, Gator, don't you have one of those? The ones that it's like the wrap where it comes down to the back of your head, right? You have one of those? Oh, see. I thought I've seen your products.
Gator has 2. Well, he has 2 head wraps, I believe.
Yeah, I have 2 head wraps. Yeah. One that's the camouflage head wrap, and then I've got the orange and blue one that I wear when I'm reffing.
Yeah, the referee one. Say.
Yeah, we've done it, and we've done probably 30 or 40 of those in 7 months.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's the head protection we got going on currently. Then we had some refs and some photographers come to us and say, "Hey, we're getting shot up in the downstairs area."
Oh,
and I said,
that's the nature of the beast in the game. Everything's a target.
I said, "I got you." So we created what we affectionately refer to as, is this show PG? Or can I call it by its real name? It's no swear word.
Call the thing. Be creative. Be creative.
We refer to it as a ball wall.
A ball wall.
I have one.
Oh, Gator, you got one of those.
I have one.
Wow. So the ball wall.
Yep, and it hangs down and it absorbs the shot, so there doesn't.
I think there's quite a few men that could agree to that.
That we started doing them for a couple refs and a couple photographers, and then I believe they're a Florida team, MEK, reached out and said, "We want custom ones, Joker." And I said, "Sure, we can do that." And again, my wife almost killed me. But if you see those guys on the field, all you got to do is look down, and all you see is MEK coming at you from the middle.
I have to give a shout out to MEK. They are some of the most, what's the best way to describe them, is shock troopers. Their job is to let the coal roll, and, some people sometimes get frustrated by when you see the wedge, right? The Mighty Ducks move through the field as they're moving an objective or a medic or a riot shield player into the zone. And they throw their body, quite literally their body, at the hits. And, well, the paintballs do have a drop. And that, having a ball wall, I think saves them quite a few ouchies.
I mean, there's a lot of video out there from a few photos ago, Mr. Dezi, of MEK and Gatormaille rolling through the town and up over that hill like nobody's business.
But please send those videos to Mr. Gator so we can get those put out for that.
Oh, I have them. Blue sent them to me. I will get those videos over to you because they are phenomenal. But Gator mail and more Gator mail. It's just awesome.
No,
then
okay, keep going. Sorry.
Then we decided, you know what? I want to make a Havoc launcher cover.
You mean
barrel covers
a barrel
for Havoc
cover,
launchers?
But
for a Havoc launcher.
Oh, okay. So for those who don't know, what is a Havoc launcher?
A Havoc launcher launches Nerf rockets. Some people will launch them giant marshmallows,
Okay.
Fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anti-tank guns.
Anti-tank launchers. Nice.
Yeah. So they're pretty large. So I was like, and they're a Nerf rocket, so you don't have to worry about projectile coming out of the end. I said, we can do a chainmail cover. Sweet. So we did. And again, we've sold a boatload of them we have 30 colors. We can do camos. We can do anything.
Now, I've seen a couple of your designs. I think one of my favorite was the skull and crossbones. Personally, as a pirate, I love the skull and crossbones in the front. What was the other ones I seen? We had, you made ones for us. There was the ref right across the side of it. That was neat.
Yeah. We did Mojo for Mojo.
Yeah.
I've done a dragon head silhouette. I
love the cotton candy galaxy sprinkles one you did, where it was the black, but then it was red, greens, blues, kind of speckled in there.
That's the Dezi confetti.
Yeah, the confetti camo. Yeah. I love the product.
30 different colors. They don't always have to be shiny. We have dull colors. You
can go
ask
pinks
about designs.
And blues,
purples and greens and golds and yellows and basically just about anything. We can make anything camo. I mean, you get 2-3 colors and it can become camouflage colors.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Woodland camo, multi-cam, urban cam, Christmas camo, you name it, we can do it.
You know what I think my brother and I need to do is we need to do a little testing for airsoft, in those
regards.
Work. Really? You've already done that?
Yeah,
testing?
We've tested them. We I have an airsoft group up here called PA TAC, and we gave a bunch of them guys the product to use in the different camo colors. And because of the way it's weaved, they will stop the BBs from coming through.
But they still feel that impact, right?
The BB and the Gator mail's a little bit but I mean, what's nice is those BBs do have they'll make a little bit of a tick noise when they hit them because they're hitting the metal ring.
Yeah.
So, but yes, they still know they're hit, but they definitely save getting if you're up close and personal, that little tiny welt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But yeah, they do work for airsoft as well. And then another product that we do is we didn't want to leave our female players out.
Yes, we're all the way from neck protection, the gentleman's protection. What do you have for ladies?
So we have a product called Battle Boobs.
Awesome. I'm in. So keep going. So
we have a lot of friends that like to get in the mix of it during a final battle, and they come out and it's black and blue marks. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, I've been shot there. I'm a guy, and it hurts a lot. So one of our good friends, she came to us and said, hey, can you put Gator mail on my sports bra? I looked at my wife, so I didn't get yelled at this time. My wife said,
yeah, let's make sure.
Yeah, I think we can. So she gave us a sports bra. My wife sat down, mapped it all out, built the Gator mail. We hand attach it to the sports bra. We take it to Monster Game out in Michigan, which is like one of the craziest final battle games you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, because Monster Game's also a BYOP game, correct? You can bring
bring your own paint event.
You
get
never
hit with all kinds of paint.
Yeah, there's all kinds of paint getting thrown out there.
So she wears it during final battle. We're anticipating, waiting to see what happens. Our goal was to reduce impact, not so much eliminate it, because it's a sports bra. It's snug. She comes off the field and she's like 70, 75% impact reduction, 100%. I'm like, that's awesome. She goes, I bet you I don't have any black and blue marks. And I'm like, that's awesome. And then she showed me and my wife.
Well, science necessary. I understand that.
I turned beet red. My wife starts to laugh at me, But literally, you couldn't tell where the paintballs hit her, where the sports bra was.
Fantastic.
That was the goal.
Right. It's we all know, well, those who don't know, within paintball, we are getting welted up. It is the nature of the beast. We are taking a food grade product projectile. Roughly, if you're playing in tournaments, it's a little bit more, but roughly 190 miles an hour. Right. Yeah. So that's going to leave an impact. It's going to have an effect on your skin. There's, from us on the recreational, the scenario where we're here for fun times, get it going. We need to be able to protect ourselves. And I mean, I don't see any it would be a hindrance in tournament paintball, for the women, because in tournament paintball, you're playing on the bounce. So when the ball hits you, it bounces off. You're still alive and you can able to keep playing. But if it hits and breaks on you, then you're eliminated. But from us that are just playing in the woods, playing a little recreational, some scenario, big game, man, that's amazing. Fantastic. Now, question for you. What is the material? What is this made out of?
So we use a combination of anodized aluminum metal rings and EPDM rubber rings. Essentially, if you have a pond at home that has a rubber liner in it to hold the water, that's what those rings are made out of. We did that for a couple reasons. One, weather is not going to have any effect on the aluminum or the rubber rings. Rain, snow, sleet, sun, doesn't matter. It's not going to affect it. The other thing that it does is it helps with noise reduction. If it was just all aluminum rings, they'd jingle like Santa Claus.
You ain't kidding. Sometimes when I'm doing my creep walk and I have mine and it just ever so slightly clink, clink, clink on the net, I'm like, let's go make the move.
But the big thing is it reduces weight. A neck protector weighs all of 4 ounces, and once the weight is distributed across the bottom of your mask, you wear one, you don't even know it's there.
Yep.
And that's the key.
We had our buddy Joseph make up his own. He saw what we were doing with the Gatormaille, and he was like, well, he's a cosplayer. He loves to get creative. And so he made for himself a chainmail shirt.
Ugh.
Yeah, he wears an undershirt. He hair grabs. And he gave me that shirt, and I couldn't believe the weight. I was blown away. You think of knights in shining armor, and you look, like, all right, I could do that. Hold on. Tell you what, put 10 pounds on your chest and just hold that. That's distributed. Sure, it's in a shirt, and he made his own chainmail. And I picked up, it's the same length, same width that he made. And I was like, dude, that's an insane amount of weight. And that's pulling on your neck, and your neck's getting hung over. Now your shoulders hurt, your neck hurt. You're not going to be able to wear that for an 8-hour big game. Hell, you'll feel that after a day of playing recreational.
Absolutely. So we wanted it to be lightweight. Another thing that we do, if you would buy that piece of chainmail at a Renaissance festival, you'd be paying $200+ $200+ for a handcrafted piece of chainmail. That neck protector that you have right there took 4 hours to build. 4 hours. Opening and closing each and every one of those aluminum rings.
4 hours of manufacturing. Okay, that's your time. You're never going to get back.
Correct.
4 hours.
So during non-events, there's $65 for standard, which is 1 or 2 colors or camo.
Okay.
Custom work are $95.
Okay.
Then shipping, which is usually around $5 in the U.S. To ship one.
Okay.
At events, we do run a special to where if you cash and carry, because we usually always have some at events, they're $60. But if we don't have a color or you want to do something custom, not only do we knock the $5 off, but we also cover shipping.
Oh, awesome.
Because you're waiting.
So we catch you at an event.
Yep.
I want Rainbow Kitty. I want to place an order. I've got cash in hand. What am I paying you?
For a custom piece, $90.
$90. So I'm in $90. I'll leave you my address, give you a crisp high five, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Well, on the average, when we're not busy, we give ourselves a 6-week lead time because we haven't not been busy. If that
when you've got a kick-ass product like this, yeah, that makes sense.
Right now we just finished up an event. We just come back from Oregon in May, and we're sitting right around 8 to 10 weeks. And I do get some people are like, that's a long time, and then they'll stand there and talk to me, and they'll watch my wife making them at events, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're not kidding."
Handmade.
My wife Monica will sit and hand make those while we're at an event because she's constantly working on orders. So, yes, they literally are handcrafted.
I love it. This isn't a machine. This is you and
Nope.
your wife, your guys' small business, making a product for, golly, how many paintball players just in recreational or scenario involved? It's a lot of people. It's a lot of orders, man. Before I let you go, I got a couple questions here. How long have you been doing this, creating Gatormaille?
5 years as of April of this year.
5 years. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Why did you start this? Why? I know we talked about it briefly, but what was you? Why did you personally say that I want to make this?
Like I said, it started when I really started getting back into it with my daughter. I didn't like getting shot in the neck. I didn't like digging shell and stuff out of my beard. So I wanted something cool. And I'm a big Renaissance Festival guy. And, I'm like, again, my buddy who'd been chainmailing for years, I said, "Hey, what can we do?" And he goes, "Give me some time." And the rest is history.
Nice. Excellent, dude. What is the hardest part about the creation, making these, from the ball wall to the battle buoys, head wraps, neck protectors? What's the hardest part of this creation?
The hardest part of creation would be the customs, because not only do we hand build them, but I also hand draw every custom piece of artwork. And there are times, unfortunately, where I have to call the client and be like, "This pattern's too intricate. It doesn't work. You can't tell what it is."
Right.
I had a kid that wanted an Egyptian feather one time, and I drew it up, and it looked like something that I can't repeat on the air.
Yeah.
And I called him, and he goes, "Oh, no, I'm sure it'll be cool." I'm like, "I'm going to text you this picture." And when I did, he called me back, and he goes, "You're 100% right. That looks like something inappropriate."
I heard.
So
More
it's disappointing
open
people.
options would be the best way, right? Like a skull you could recreate,
Yeah, something that's not doesn't have a lot of intricate scrolls and stuff like that. Like, we get a lot of requests for animals. And we found that just doing a base silhouette really works. Like Dragon from Select Few.
Yeah.
He wanted a dragon head. And I found a profile silhouette of a dragon head, and I did it for him. And he now has like 3 of them.
Awesome.
And we keep doing them in different colors because, again, we have all those colors.
Yeah.
There's a guy from TFL they call Squirrel. and he wanted a squirrel. I did a squirrel silhouette.
Oh, awesome.
Ivan, from down your way, he wanted the bear.
Yeah.
Or Pedro,
yeah.
Pedro. It didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it, but I think it was more a color combination versus anything else, but it was a bear silhouette.
Yeah.
So I tell everybody, we'll try.
We'll give it a shot.
I did a fox head. I've done a rubber duck.
The rubber duck.
I did the Notre Dame logo, the Michigan State logo.
Michigan State,
but they're all block letter. They're all block letters, so they're
right.
Even though it's square or rectangular, the rings are round and they're solid colors. So when you try to build, you lose like fine points, like flames.
No flames.
Until I can figure out how to get multi-anode colored rings, flames aren't going to look like flames.
Yeah.
So I tell everybody, I can't really do flames, but what we do turn out, people really, really, really like.
As a customer of yours, I absolutely stand by this product. I tell it to all of our kids' paintball team, the Swamp Monkeys. I tell them, look, guys, specifically to the parents, it's the nature of the beast, what we're getting into. And so therefore we must be prepared for it. And if you wish to cut down on this, the cloth around the neck sucks. The little rubber, 2-inch thick little collar that you wrap around sucks. You got to run around with the shamag around your neck sucks. And it doesn't breathe in any of that. All of that material is hugging your neck. And this material attaches directly to the mask. It hangs in front of your neck. So it's not cutting into your breathing, if you will, like, any of the airflow. It's giant chains and rings, so the air's cutting through. This is a fantastic thing that you've created. Where can we find you? If someone wanted to place an order today, where can they find you?
So, Facebook, Gatormaille Facebook page, same thing with Instagram. They can email us direct at gatormaille@gmail.com. And since February, we actually have 3 of our products. Oh, one which I forgot to tell you about. We have 3 of our products available now on our online store.
You have an online store.
Yes, we only have 3 products on so far. We have standard neck protectors.
Okay.
We have our skull caps.
Excellent.
And we have our tank covers.
Okay, excellent. So another product that goes up and wraps around your tank. Oh, Mr. Gator.
If you want their website description, there's a link.
Oh, in the description, guys, there's a link to the products. We already got you covered, Dayton. So these guys can travel and find you.
Yep, they can www.gatormaille.com and it'll take them to our site. They can place the order and ship it direct.
With the tank covers, some things people don't understand. So we in paintball run typically a compressed air tank. That's a high pressure air tank, and you need to protect that. A lot of people kind of go raw with it, just the bottle, and they go out and play. But if you're anything like the way we play, we're beating on our stuff, and they only have typically like a cloth covers for them. I know Valken and a couple other companies do make them, but it's printed. It's got a little Hawaiian design or some kind of digi camo or something on there. But you get a lightweight chain protection. If you did take a mean fall with your air tank and then hit that on a rock or something, you could really damage your product. And that's a $200 air tank sometimes.
The other nice thing about it is with our tank covers, because they're chainmail, you don't have to remove your cover for the people that are checking hydro dates.
Absolutely.
Because they can
great
see
point.
it.
Yep. They can look right at it.
For those of us that like to shoulder our guns, because we're old school and we shoulder our tanks on our shoulder, the rubber not only grips the tank so they don't slide around, but it also grips to your jersey so it doesn't move.
Oh,
so
nice.
that's
So it's
another
rubberized. Because of the rings, it stays planted in your shoulder. Nice.
Yep, it stays
Excellent.
planted where you want it. Again, it's all about protection, but then again, it's all about style.
Yeah,
Look
cool
at these
while you're
guys.
doing it.
Everything I run with is purple and green. You know, Joker colors. That's me. You know.
Yeah.
So everything I own is purple and green,
You get
and
to play your
including all my
character.
Gatormaille stuff.
I love it. All right, one last question, sir. What is the next event that people can find you?
We're leaving tomorrow to go to OXC Maryland for Super Game Maryland.
Oh, you guys are heading to Outdoor Extreme Maryland.
Yeah, that's about a 6-hour drive for us, and
Woo.
we love going down. We love the field down there. The people are great. We'll be down there, and then after that, about 3 weeks, we'll be out to Vend at Ion.
Oh, awesome. That's right. That's coming up. Yeah. So at Maryland, you've got a 3-day scenario or big game for called Super Game. And that one, I know I've commanded that a couple of times. I really
Yes,
love
indeed.
that field. That is a rock star property. If you've never had an opportunity, get your butts out this weekend to Outdoor Extreme for Super Game Maryland. This is going to be awesome. You want a mag-fed game? You got it. You want a normal big game blast across acres of land? You got it. You want tanks? You want the rocket launchers? You got it.
And don't forget about Final Battle.
Oh my gosh. You get 2 final battles. I think the first one is going to be on the Connex field.
Yep.
That a turf field with Connex, that's a blast. I think Jenny made her way up into the center mixing bowl right by the flag station. I was like, honey, Godspeed. Continue on, soldier. I'll be on your wire. Good luck, honey.
If my first Super Game Maryland I played, it was me and Silver Fox, and you were our general.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that final battle where it was all you did was, Joker, shoot hands at that flag. I got you. And that's all I did.
Touch it, blast it.
I went through so much pain. I think I went through more pain during Final Battle than I did through 2 days of playing.
That's awesome. All right, Bubby. That's going to wrap us up for this evening here. Again, these guys can check you out at Gatormaille.com for the online store. You guys, we have a link in the description for you guys to check it out. Check you out over at Outdoor Extreme for Super Game Maryland, man. Enjoy. And thank you for making this kick-ass product, dude. I love it, and I preach the gospel. Protect your neck.
Thank you for the support. And one quick thing before I go. If
Yes.
you're a ref or media,
Oh,
contact me directly because I don't have discounts in place, but all my refs and media guys get discounts.
oh, bro.
Because those guys are out there making us look good and taking care of us and keeping us safe, and they have no way of protecting themselves.
If you're a referee, you want to protect your neck, the ball wall, with the battle boobies, or protect your head, hit up Damian. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate your time here from taking away from the family.
I look forward to seeing you here at the beginning of August, sir. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much.
I'll see you up north.
All right.
All right, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to do a quick intermission, and then we're going to jump right into mag-fed paintball for a little bit of rest of the time.